Click the Start button on the taskbar. If Excel 2016 does not display on the Start menu, click in the Search Programs and Files and type E, and notice that Excel 2016 displays as the first item on the Start menu. Click Excel 2016 and select Blank Workbook. In cell A1, enter the worksheet title, Comparison of Magazine Purchases. And press the Enter key. In cell A2, enter the worksheet subtitle, Subscription versus Newsstand. And press the Enter key. To change the theme to Badge, click the Page Layout tab on the ribbon. Click the Themes down arrow in the Themes group. And scroll to the theme called Badge. Select. In row 3, insert the multi-line headings and widen columns to accommodate the data. Click in cell A3. Type name, space of. Hold down the Alt key on the keyboard and press the Enter key. Type magazine. Press the Tab key. Notice that both name of and magazine are in the same cell. Now type news, stand, Alt Enter, price. Tab. Now we notice that the D came down to the next line. Put your cursor between the B and the C. Hold down the mouse and drag to the right until the D moves up to the first line. Now we're going to type issues, Alt Enter, per year. Issues, Alt Enter, per year. Tab. Now subscription, Alt Enter, price, Alt Enter, per year. Tab. And again, we're going to adjust the column width. Click in cell A4 and drag through D10. We are going to enter the worksheet data unformatted. Type Good Housekeeping, Enter. Women's World, Enter. Consumer Report, Enter. Sports Illustrated, Enter. American Cheerleader, Enter. Prevention Magazine, Enter. Pageantry, Enter. You are now ready to enter the numeric data. It will be entered in what is called general format. If there are any zeros after the decimal point, they will be removed. 2.5, enter. 1.35, enter. 3.5, enter. 3.21, enter. 2.79, enter. 4.95, enter. You are now ready to enter the issues per year. 8, enter. 40, enter. 11, enter. 35, enter. 4, enter. 7, enter. 3, enter. And now the subscription price per year. 20. Now if I put in the 0.00 and enter, notice that it removes the zeros after the decimal point. 59.8, enter. 18, enter. 88.95, enter. 13.5, enter. 21.97, enter. 16, enter. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Now let's scroll up a little bit and notice that row 3 is really a little taller than we need. Place your cursor on the horizontal line between 3 and 4. Click and drag up just a little bit. We've adjusted the height of row 3. Click in cell E3. We are going to add 2 additional multi-line column headings. We are going to put formulas in these columns. In cell E3, type newsstand, Alt-Enter, price, Alt-Enter, per year, tab, and in F3, we are going to type subscription, PY, Alt-Enter, less, Alt-Enter, newsstand, per year, tab, and now we're going to adjust until we have subscription per year less newsstand per year. Click in cell E4. Type an equal sign on the keyboard to tell Excel you are ready to begin a formula. You want to take the newsstand price, which is in cell B4. So you're going to type B4 and multiply, which is shift, and the 8, which is the asterisk. And then you want to multiply by the issues per year, which is in cell C4. So we're going to type C4. Notice that B4 is blue, and the cell that it references is also blue. This is called the rangefinder. And click it, and C4 is red, and the cell it references is also red. Notice that we have the formula equal B4 times C4 in cell E4. It also displays in the formula bar. Press the Enter key. You need the formula that is in cell E4 in each of the other cells in column E. You could click in cell E5 and type equal and do the same procedure that we did for E4. But there's a quicker way. Click in cell E4. Notice that there is a small green square in the right bottom corner of the cell. This is called the fill handle. Move your cursor to the fill handle until your cursor changes to a small black plus sign. Click and drag through row 10. you have copied the formula. Click in cell E4. Notice the formula is equal B4 times C4. Now click in cell E5. Notice the formula is equal B5 times C5 as you copied the formula down the column. The row number changed. This is called relative cell addressing. Click in cell F4. You are going to enter a formula that calculates the subscription price per year less the newsstand price per year. Type an equal sign to begin the formula. You need the subscription price per year, which is in cell D4. Instead of typing D4, Excel has what is called the point mode. Move your cursor to cell D4 and click. That cell address displays in the formula. You want to subtract, so you'll type a minus sign. And you want the newsstand price per year. That is in cell E4, so we're going to click on cell E4. In cell F4, you now have the formula, equal D4 minus E4. Press the Enter key. 20 minus 20 is 0. Click in cell F4 and use the fill handle to copy the formula to cells F5 through F10. Now we are going to use a feature called conditional formatting to display positive numbers in column F with a light green background and a dark green font. The first step is to highlight the numbers you want to format. Select F4 and drag through F10. Click the Home tab on the ribbon and click the Conditional Formatting down arrow in the Styles group. Select Highlight Cell Rules and Greater Than. If a number is positive, it is greater than 0. Type 0 and click the With down arrow. We want green fill with dark green text. If what we wanted was not available, we would click Custom Format. Notice the preview. There are two numbers that are positive. Click OK. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Click in cell A11. Type average, press the Enter key. Type lowest, press the Enter key, and type highest. Click in cell D11. We want to find the average subscription price per year. You have already used a function. A function is when we used sum. We're going to use a function called average. In the editing group, click the sum down arrow and select average. By default, Excel highlights all of the numeric data above the cell that you entered the function. We are going to average D4 through D10. This is correct, so we're going to press the Enter key. The average is 34 point and a lot of decimal places. Now we're going to find the lowest number in the range D4 through D10. Click the sum down arrow in the editing group and select min. Min is a function we use to find lowest. The formula says equal min D4 through D11. We do not want D4 through D11, we want D4 through D10. Scroll up a little bit and we can highlight D4 through D10. Now it says D4 through D10, press the Enter key. Now we need to find the highest. Click the sum down arrow and we will use max. The formula reads equal max D4 through D12. We want D4 through D10. Another way to make that change is to click in the formula bar, backspace, and type a 0. We now have the max of D4 through D10. Press the Enter key. We also want to find the average, lowest, and highest of the newsstand price per year. So we are going to click in cell E11. Now we could complete this formula the same way and go to average, highlight, but instead we are going to copy the formula that we have in D11, 12, and 13. Click in cell D11, drag through D13. Notice that we still have a small green fill handle in the bottom of the range that we selected. Click on the fill handle until your cursor changes to a black plus sign. Click and drag to the right. You now have the average of each average, lowest, and highest for column E. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Since the numeric data that we have in rows 11, 12, and 13 is different than the numeric data in rows 4 through 10, I would like to have some distinction. So I'm going to put my cursor on the horizontal rule between 11 and 12. Click, and we have a height of 18. Drag down until the height changes to 36. Release. Notice that this gives us a little change because we have increased the height of row 11. Now we are going to format the numeric data. Highlight cells B4 through F4 and apply the accounting format. Click the $ in the number group, which will apply the accounting number format. $ and decimal places display. Notice that the $ display at the left of the cell. Now highlight cells B5 through F10 and apply the comma style. In the number group, click the comma style, which formats with a thousandths separator. Now highlight D11 through E13 and apply the currency format. Click the down arrow beside number format and select currency. Notice that it puts in the dollar signs and the decimal places, but notice where the dollar sign displays. It is a leading dollar sign instead of a fixed dollar sign at the left of the cell. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Notice that the issues per year now displays with dollar signs and decimal places. Highlight C4 through C10 and apply the number format. Click the number format down arrow and select number. We now have no dollar signs, but we still have 2 decimal places. In the number group, click the decrease decimal icon twice to remove the decimal places. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Now we are going to center the title and subtitle across columns A through F. Scroll to the top of the document and highlight A1 through F1. In the alignment group, select Merge and Center. Click in cell A2 and drag from A2 through F2 and select Merge and Center. Click in cell A1 and apply the table cell style. Click the Cell Styles down arrow in the Styles group and select Title. Click in cell A2 and apply the title's cell style. Change the font size of the subtitle to 14. In cells A1 and A2, apply a green background and a white font, and insert a thick outside border around the range. Select cells A1 and A2. Click the Fill Color down arrow in the font group and select green. Click the Font Color down arrow and select white. Click the Border down arrow in the font group and select Thick Outside Borders. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. As we look at the worksheet, there are a couple of additional formatting changes that I would like to make. First, let's add a border under row 3. Highlight A3 through F3. Click the Border button down arrow in the font group and select Bottom Border. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Let's center the column headings. Select A3 through F3. Click the Center Align icon in the alignment group. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. Notice that column A, all of the data still does not display. Place your cursor on the vertical line between A and B and double-click. I'm looking at the conditional formatting in column F. And I notice that two numbers have a light green background and a green font, but I don't know what that means. It's always a good idea to add a legend explaining the color coding. Click in cell G3. Notice that if it is light green with a dark green font, it means that it is better to purchase at the newsstand because it is less expensive. So let's click in cell G3 and type better to purchase at newsstand. And maybe capitalize the P in purchase. And press the Enter key. Let's widen this a little bit so that we can have better to purchase at newsstand. Click in the cell. I want it to have the same formatting as the numbers. So I'm going to go to Conditional Formatting, highlight Cell Rules, Text that contains, and select the green fill with dark green text, and click OK. Now we have a legend explaining this. Let's put a outside border around G3. Click the border button in the font group and select outside, thick outside borders. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect. To insert a header that displays at the top of each page of the worksheet, select File, Print, scroll down, and select Page Setup. Click the Header Footer tab, select Custom Header. In the left section, let's include the sheet name. As you move your cursor across a tab, it tells you what that icon will do. We would like to use Insert Sheet Name and then Tab. Now we're in the center section. Let's put the page number. Insert Page Number. Tab, and in the right section, we will insert the date. Click OK. Notice it shows you a preview. And now we're going to click OK. You can now see a preview of what your worksheet will look like. Click the back button to return to the active document in normal view. To rename the Sheet tab, right-click, rename, and type Magazine Purchases. Press the Enter key. To change the tab color, right-click, Tab Color, and let's select green. Save the workbook as Magazine Purchases. Select Save on the Quick Access toolbar. Navigate to the location of the student data files. Select Excel, Excel, Excel Module 2, and we are going to save this as Magazine Purchases, and click Save. To view the formulas in the worksheet, hold down the Control key on the keyboard and press the accent mark above the Tab key. All of the formulas for the Magazine Purchases worksheet display. This is useful if you find that one of the numbers seems way out of line. You can see all the formulas at once and check your work. Let's preview the worksheet to see how this would look when printed. File, Print. Notice that it is displaying on 3 pages. First, let's change the orientation to Landscape. Click the Portrait Orientation down arrow and select Landscape. This shows more of the formulas, but not all of them. Click the No Scaling down arrow and select Fit Sheet on 1 page. We can now see all of the formulas on 1 page. Click the back button to return to the worksheet in normal view. Let's save this worksheet as Magazine Purchases Formula Version. Because we are changing the name, we cannot use the Save icon in the Quick Access toolbar. Click File, Save As. We can choose Current Folder Excel Mod 2. Change this to Magazine Purchases Formula Version and click Save. Close the workbook. You now have 2 workbooks, Magazine Purchases and Magazine Purchases Formula Version.